Back in Maryland, there are approximately 10,000 so-called special immigrant juveniles waiting for their green cards. They are young immigrants who were either abandoned, abused, or neglected by a parent, and they were first allowed to work while they wait for their permanent residency in 2022. That's because of a policy change by the Biden administration. But now the Trump administration is trying to roll back that policy change. And that's the subject of a new report from our media partner, the Baltimore Banner. Reporter Daniel Zawodny is here with us now. Really interesting report as always. So let's talk about, for people like me who had never heard of this program, who are these young people and how do they qualify as a special immigrant juvenile?
Sure. Well, Denise, thanks for having me on. So special immigrant juvenile status, it's often referred to SIJ or SIJ, often called SIJ kids. Young people who have been abandoned, abused, or neglected by one or both parents. So first, before they apply with the Department of Homeland Security, a state court actually places them into the custody of an adult caregiver and determines that it is not in their best interest to return to their country of origin. So what's happening right now is there's a huge backlog in the system. So this was designed as something temporary. It puts them on a pathway towards permanent residency. But in the last decade, the number of applications has skyrocketed. It's gone way up, but the number of green cards actually available to these young people has not changed. So you have situations where now young people are waiting 6-7 years before they have any real benefits, before they're able to work or receive their green cards. So the 2022 policy change under the Biden administration allowed them to work for the first time. And that's kind of what the sticking point is here in this lawsuit.
So these are young people who needed protection, clearly, because they had parents who were not treating them right. And then 6-7 years, they become adults, some of them. I know you interviewed one person anonymously, or did not identify her in any case, who's 22. And now has a job, correct?
That's correct. So really what's happening, you have young people who are receiving this designation when they're 15, 16 years old. There's a huge number of these young people living in the state of Maryland. But because they have to wait so long, you have a number of them who can't get a loan for college, or they can't get jobs as they become young adults. And it really, inhibits their ability to become part of our society. It inhibits their ability to, make money, support themselves, to pay taxes on those wages. But in 2022, what happened was they are granted what's called deferred action. So that allows them to lawfully work. It also formally deprioritizes their deportation. So that is the policy that the Trump administration is looking to roll back right now, saying that it is in the national and public interest to do so.
Why?
So in the lawsuit, the plaintiffs allege, it's a class action lawsuit, they allege that the government has not provided any real reason as to why they are rolling back this protection. They're saying that it's just a matter of government discretion, that deferred action is not something that is owed to them statutorily, but is really just, discretionary.
And you're referring to a lawsuit that you talk about in your report that's being done in another state that could set a precedent to stop the Trump administration from getting rid of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So the case is happening in New York, and it could impact as many of the floor is about 100,000 young people nationwide, but immigrant advocates and experts estimate that is likely much, much higher.
All right, we'll be watching that. Again, 10,000 of them in Maryland waiting to see what happens. Really interesting report as always. Thanks for joining us, Daniel.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And to read his report and other independent reporting from our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, head to thebanner.com. Cutter.